Hi, this is Teresia, Director of the Erickson Business Center, creator and facilitator of the Passion to Profit program, and most importantly, your personal business building mentor. Welcome to our Business Breakthrough series, and I am excited. Today we have Sherry Peters with us. Hello, Sherry. Welcome.
Hi, Teresia. Hi, everybody.
And Sherry is presently in Module 5 and a participant of the Passion to Profit program. And I'm excited to have Sherry here today because during one session in the Passion to Profit program, one of the modules that we cover is looking at any limiting beliefs that we might have and how they may be getting in our way in realizing our entrepreneurial dreams. And Sherry and I, actually, we had a breakthrough session also. And so Sherry got really clear of a limiting belief, and I was just so inspired by her sharing in the last few Passion to Profit calls of how she is managing this belief and moving through it. So I asked her if I could pick her brain on her journey, and she has agreed. So again, thank you so much, Sherry, for being here.
My pleasure. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, because I know, Sherry, you are not alone. I mean, I just feel like asking, all our viewers to say, how many of you get in your own way, hit a wall? And Sherry, I know you know this really well. And I had an aha moment preparing for Sherry's video interview today that Sherry is not only a coach in the making, but she's also an author of a book called, Sherry, do you want to show us the cover of your book and tell us the title?
Silencing Your Inner Saboteur by me. And it's mostly it's a tool for writers, but what is in there is useful to everybody. It's really about where our limiting beliefs come from and how to silence them. And
awesome. It was an aha moment for me. I'm like getting prepared to what questions I wanted to ask you, and I thought, she wrote a book on limiting beliefs. So
yes. In fact, wasn't it in our breakthrough session, I said, this is what I tell my clients and what I write about all the time.
Yes. And, and Sherry, I think another good point that we discussed before we turned on the recording is that, and fellow coaches, I think you'll all relate to this. We often coach and support people on things that we most want to create in our life or the areas that we most want to move through. So, and that's, I think, Sherry, you bring so much to the table because you're so willing to look at how you're getting in your own way and, moving through that. And now through writing a book and coaching, you're helping people do the exact same thing. So thank you for sharing your gift and your knowledge with our community. So let's get to finding a bit more about your journey. Can you just share with us, where were you before you started the Passion to Profit program and really jumping into building your business? What was because I know your beliefs were around business building, right? The limiting beliefs. So tell us, what was your state of mind then? What were you feeling when you started the Passion to Profit program?
When I started the program, I was terrified. I'm not particularly a math person, and to me, business has to do with accounting and math and being an extrovert, and I'm actually, contrary to what you're probably seeing now, I'm actually an introvert. So, being away from people is where I get my energy, and I always thought I had to be out there selling myself, and I'm not great at being the last through the men kind of person, and I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to do it, and I knew that when I took Passion into Profit, having gone through the introduction to entrepreneurship free webinar through Erickson like 3 times, and you're turning prospects into clients about 4 times, plus the audio recordings, I knew what some of the things we were going to be talking about were going to be, and I just wasn't sure that I had what it took to do it.
And Sherry, I just want to highlight, and I shared this with you just before the call, but in your questionnaire before the Passion to Profit program, we have everybody fill out a business questionnaire. And Sherry wrote, I am nervous about taking the PIP program. I am not sure I have what it takes to run a business. I know this is a limiting belief, but I'm committed to overcoming it. So Yeah. So I really get at the
Yes.
beginning of the journey, there was a lot of fear, a lot of self-doubt, insecurity.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And even in the first few months of the program, I just didn't feel like I had the confidence or the value to offer that people would want to pay for. And so I knew what I had to do if I wanted to make it a successful business, and I knew that I probably had the skills, but I didn't know how to actually employ them, which is when I actually came to you for the breakout session.
Okay. So what happened there? What did you become clear of during that breakthrough session?
What I became clear of was what was really beneath that, my limiting belief of not knowing if I had what it took, which was that I am cautious because I was concerned. I'd spent how much money on the coaching program, Module 5, Passion to Profit. I have a graduate degree in writing, and I was like, when is this stuff going to start paying off?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I was holding myself back, and so I knew that I had to do something. And what came out of that was, I'm just going to read it here, my limiting belief that we came up with was that I have to be cautious so I don't make another mistake.
Okay.
And do you remember that?
Yes, I do. I'm just going to write it down again here, though. So
yeah, okay. And I had been so cautious, I was too afraid of taking a risk.
And stretching out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, stepping out of my comfort zone, taking that risk to get what I wanted.
Okay. And Sherry, would you say, I'm just going to repeat, so is the limiting belief, I have to be cautious so I don't make another mistake?
Yes.
Okay. And I know, and I'm sure you support your clients also. Sometimes, it's really powerful just to become aware of what are those limiting thoughts, what are those limiting beliefs. We don't have to, go back and dig up why we have it. It's just the awareness can make a difference. And I'm just curious for you, what happened? How did that awareness impact you?
I actually like taking risk. I love adventure. I packed up everything and I moved to Northern Ireland for a year. I'm pretty much nothing but a whim and a prayer. And it was the best decision I ever made. I enjoy taking adventures and risks. And actually, when we started the PIT program, I think one of the first things I said was that I like to take risks. So there was disconnect there. And once I realized that I actually wasn't being true to myself by not taking that risk, that in itself made it a huge leap forward for myself.
Wow, that's powerful, Sherry.
Yeah.
So your limiting belief was limiting you from being true to yourself and really living your life in the way that you want. Yeah. Okay. So,
which is so often how they are.
Yes. So what was next for you after that awareness of that limiting belief?
So then we came up with a new one, the positive belief, which is, when I am my assertive and brave self, magic happens and I am a step closer to my dreams. And so that became my daily mantra. Actually more than daily, like hourly. Every time I had to talk to somebody, actually about anything. And it didn't take long, and I forgot what my limiting belief was. I found it now just before the interview so that I could remind myself of what it was.
I love that.
It's
totally out of your conscious and even unconscious mind at this point.
Throw it out now after this because I don't want to remember what it was.
I support that. Okay.
Yeah, so then I started living that daily. When I'm my assertive and brave self, magic happens. And so our breakthrough session was in December, and it took a couple weeks for that to kind of grow in my mind. But by January, we worked on me taking baby steps and working those baby steps, and truly being my assertive and brave self, magic has happened.
Sherry, I'm going to ask you what kind of magic in a moment, but I just want to clarify. So the process that you went through, you got clear. What is that biggest limiting belief holding you back from being who you really are and taking the steps to realize your dreams and the goals that you want? And then, and what we talk about in the Passion Profit program, identify that limiting belief. And they can be just simply, as you just said today, let's come up with a new empowering belief. But the key is when we come up with that new empowering belief, it's, it's sort of like an affirmation. It's an intellectual statement. And what we need to do is put references under that new belief, which is really about taking action and creating new references so that new belief becomes a part of who we are. And I love what you said, Sherry. The first couple of weeks, it was still sort of sinking in. Okay, this new belief, I like it. It sounds good, but it's just words. Then we got to take action until that belief becomes a part of who you are.
Yeah.
And so tell us a little bit about the action you've taken and what's happening now in your coaching business?
On so many different levels. Okay, so I've had more promotion with my book, with faculty at the University of Manitoba, marketing opportunities at conferences. I got my first paying client. Yay! And being able to ask for referrals and just go to, offer complimentary sessions and be brave and assertive enough to ask for the money, ask for the commitment.
Wow.
Wow. Sort of out of the blue came an opportunity for a strategic alliance with a new writing website, which is now working out wonderfully.
Yeah, Sherry, I don't know if it's out of the blue, because that just happened after our last call that we talked about strategic alliance, and I know you must have put it out there somehow.
I must have. And I was coaching one of my pro bono clients, and the day after we talked about strategic alliances, and I've sort of been thinking, well, maybe that would be useful, but I wasn't quite sure how. Or so, I know these guys. Well, that's convenient.
See, when you embrace your empowering beliefs, you start to attract opportunities.
Yes.
Awesome.
It's that magic.
Yes. Oh, can you share your new belief one more time for us, Sherry?
Yes, when I am my assertive and brave self, magic happens and I am a step closer to my dreams.
Oh, wonderful. So, Sherry, is there anything, what advice, I guess, or what would you like to encourage your fellow coaches and fellow coachpreneurs around this topic?
Address your limiting belief. Know that they are what is holding you back from being your true self. And find those benchmarks to create that new positive affirmation, that new positive belief. And with that new affirmation, add action.
I love that.
Baby steps.
I love that. I often say affirmations plus action equals realized entrepreneurial dreams. And Sherry, you are an amazing example of that. Thank you so much for taking the time today. And I just want, again, can you hold up your book again? Because people are committed to moving through their limiting beliefs. Here is a great resource to do that. And of course, working with a coach, the combination of this book and getting a coach in your corner, I think we can bust through any personal limitation that we have.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, Sherry, and where can they get a copy of that book?
They can get a copy at any online bookstore, but I'll give you my website. It's got all the links to it there, which is sherrypeters.wordpress.com.
Okay.
So that's Sherry Peters, SherryPeters.wordpress.com.
Thank you so much, Sherry, and thank you for being such an inspiration and in such a important and challenging area, that we all face when we're stretching out of our comfort zone and going for our dreams. So again, thank you for sharing your journey with our fellow coaches. All right, everyone, until we connect again, I encourage you to dream big, embrace your inner entrepreneur, and turn your passion into profit. Thanks, Sherry. Bye.
Thanks.